This is absolutely cool. How is everyone? Hope you are having a magical day. Just wanted to, hang on, let's exit this full screen on here so I can see comments. Laura, hope you are super well, having a magical day, as I said. Let me open the comments on my phone so I can see nice and clearly. Happy days, happy days. Okay, welcome to day 2 of our 30-day live video training. Really super excited. I am going to, after this live, I'm going to go and check on all of our watchers of day 1. Everyone that participated in day 1, as you will know, and commented and got involved in the comments, will be going into a prize draw to win one of my Elastic Attitude audiobooks. Just trying to see if there's one in this office. I've actually had to leave my house today because having a window fitted, basically having a wall knocked out and a window fitted in the garage that's been converted. And it's a little bit flipping noisy. So I've come over to the other side of Peterborough to the office here and tuning in from here. So yeah, hopefully the Wi-Fi is going to be pretty cool because it's not as great. So make sure you say hi. Great to see so many of you jumping on. Hey, Xander. Hey, Gary. Hey, Shana. Thank you very much for joining me today. If you haven't watched day 1, shame on you, only joking, but you can go and watch day 1. If you look in the topic section across the top, you'll see 30-day free live training. All of the videos will going to be sit into that topic section. So as we build them up over the next 30 days, you're going to be able to invite team in here and direct them so they can start their 30 days at any time. So obviously this is all completely free. This is just about my passion and desire to contribute to you. So welcome. Really pleased you're joining today. So today we're going to talk about the missing link. Day 2 for me is something that really sits really in my passion and in my soul because I really believe in this. It's absolutely flipping massive. It is the make or break to your success in anything in life. And it really does sit under the umbrella of this saying that I love. When you want to succeed as much as you want to breathe, then you'll succeed. So in all areas of life, whether it be showing up in your relationships, whether it be showing up in your family relationships, whether it be showing up at the gym, whether it be showing up in business, it's all really based upon the importance and what most people have missing. And the missing link that I want to share with you today is what I call emotional congruency. Now, hey Nia, hope you are super cool. Hey Gemma. Hey Penelope, as you're jumping on, obviously if you're watching live, you know, make sure you're saying hi. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. I'm going to give you guys something to do at the as we're going through this live. So this live's probably likely to be about 10 minutes long or so. So for me, we often hear, don't we? It's the reason why that is the key. You know, the how-to is easy. The why is important. When you're motivated to do the things that others will not do, you'll be able to achieve the things that others will not achieve. But I want to put a little bit more meat on the bone to that because, you know, more often than not, the biggest challenge is the missing link for people is, you know, they're setting their goals in the wrong way. They're getting their reason why distracted by the outside environment. And we need to get an emotional congruency, which really what makes our heart sing with what's actually connected with our kind of mindset and our brain. So for me, the biggest hang up is this missing link, this emotional congruency to what really truly matters to us. And it's very easy to set goals because I think we get inspired by what other people are achieving, and that's absolutely fantastic. But the key is to understand if it's not congruent with what's truly important to you, you're not going to get up early, you're not going to stay up late, you're not going to step out of your comfort zone, you're not going to drive your business day in, day out, and you're not going to unleash the inner potential that you truly have. So the missing link is this missing emotional congruency and having that why power truly emotionally connected with what's important to us. Now, let me tell you a little story. Um, as many of you know, have been in network marketing now for about 19 and a half years. You know, I've built a 55 million plus business, earned a flipping fortune. You know, and one of my biggest goals was, I'll tell this story really, really quickly because it's important. When I got involved in network marketing, within a few weeks, I actually lost my best friend on a freak motorbike accident, and it literally destroyed me. But from great loss comes great strength, and I still get really emotional when I mention that. And I remember, you know, I kind of started to realize I didn't have a crystal ball, and I started working towards the goals and dreams that we shared when we were kids. Like, I wanted to, all of a sudden I started to believe and dream in this desire of driving a black 911 Porsche. And I remember telling loads of my friends, and they're like, yeah, whatever. They didn't believe in what I was doing. They didn't believe in the business. But I become dedicated to live that dream out in memory of my friend, in memory of our friendship, but also it'd always been something I'd dreamt about since I was 8 years old. So I started working towards this black Porsche 911, and I brought one when I was 29. The commitment I made was going to have one before my 30th birthday. And I went and spent, you know, I went to get tires changed on a car, digressing as always. I went to get my tires changed on a car, and there was a Porsche garage, and I started looking around. I ended up test driving this Porsche anyway. I ended up coming back with a Porsche. Phenomenal. I mean, who spends 67 grand on a car? Absolutely loved it. And for 2 years, it was my first car. And I actually used to kiss it when I came home from at the end of every night. Really, really sad. But I remember the feeling I used to get when I used to get in that car. And it was almost like I busted my gut for this. And it kind of came around. And then I wanted to drive. I had my 911 for about 10 years. And one of my friends had a Ferrari 430 Scuderia. And I remember driving it. I thought, oh, I want to buy a 458 Italia. So I set this goal, and started like creating a goal board, this Ferrari goal board. And what I found was I never really accelerated to achieve that Ferrari 458 Italia. And I later realized that actually it wasn't important to me. It wasn't congruent to what really, really mattered to me. And what I mean by that is, I, at the time, had my two little girls, Alana and Isabella, and I had them pretty much every weekend, and went on adventures with them. Like, literally, I worked hard to be able to play hard with them. That was my real driving force. That's what I worked for, because it was emotionally congruent with my values of being the dad and the father that I wanted to be. Okay, so we're going to get to this in a minute. So I never worked hard for a Ferrari 458 Italia. And here's why. It wasn't in line with my values and priorities, because how could I have an adventure at the weekend with my two little girls? Them and me is 3 people, and a Ferrari 458 Italia only has 2 seats. So unconsciously, I was probably self-sabotaging that goal, because it wasn't emotionally congruent with my values and my priorities. And this is more often the challenge that we have. We have all of these big dreams, goals, and aspirations, but are they truly congruent? You look at life itself, and life itself is very much like a box of chocolates. You always know what you're going to get. Who's watched Forrest Gump when he talks about life's like a box of chocolates? You never know what you're going to get. What a biggest load of BS I've ever heard in my life. You always know what you're going to get, because there's a little card telling you which each chocolate is. And when I've spoken at events all over the world, most women know they don't even need the menu card, because they know which one's their favorite chocolate. Okay, so we always get what we choose, right? So for me, I started to really understand the importance of congruency. So what I want to do is I want to challenge you as we come to this year. Now, I'm actually going to be running a 90-minute webinar training on the Tuesday, the 22nd of December, creating your blueprint for success for 2021. So get that in your diaries. But what I want you to do now is really start to get some congruency in your goal setting from now till the end of the year, for 2021 and for the future. If you noticed, I put a poll in the group last night asking people where their goals are. And it really is just about I guess, the basics. I mean, have a little consideration for the moment before we get into a couple of things that I want you to do today to get some emotionally congruency, to get some goals that really empower you to go into high performance because they're congruent with your values and priorities. But the first thing is this: what things would you like to achieve in activity, in contribution, in reward, and in sharing, in feeling between now and the end of this year? So imagine you get to Christmas Eve, for argument's sake. So you get to Christmas Eve, the day before Christmas Eve, or even the day before that. I know many European countries celebrate the day before Christmas Eve, right? It's got different names, so I can't remember what they are. But so wherever your Christmas celebrations start, should they start at all, the day before that, just kind of imagine now that you're looking back on the next 4 weeks or what you've achieved this year. What are the things that are going to make you feel good from the inside out? What are the things that are going to make you feel super, super, super cool? So 3 things pre-Christmas. And then what are you looking forward to in 2021? When you look at your network marketing business, you know, are you dreaming big? You know, I've got some insane goals for just for this year, but for next year, because I believe in dreaming big and really backing that up with a work ethic of high expectation and high performance. But these goals have got to be congruent with what emotionally emotionally matters to us. And then what's your big driver? You know, what's the big goal? Like the ultimate, the legacy. What is the big thing? You know, just have a little think. If money was no object, and you know, I remember like years and years ago, I was doing some prospecting, and I remember someone saying to me, "Oh, yeah, I don't need any extra money. I'm really happy with my life." And da-di-da-di-da. And I remember I was like quite cocky at the time, and I'm like, "Do you play the national lottery?" "Yeah, every week I do about £5 to £10 a week." And I went, "And you don't want any more money? That's fascinating. Why do you play the national lottery?" And the thing is, most people don't want to work for it. They just want to be given it, right? So we need to find the workers, not the shirkers. But the reason why I asked you that is just imagine, you know, if money was no object, where would you live? What would you drive? Who would you holiday with? What adventures would you go on? You know, one of my biggest ambitions right now is to fulfill one of my mum's biggest ambitions. My mum and dad have 11 grandkids and great grandkids, I believe. And they want to take them on an African safari. It's going to cost £75,000 for all of the grandkids. And as kids, like, we're definitely not letting my folks, not letting my folks take my kids away without me. So just from a protective point of view, right? So the whole family are going to be going on this African safari, a week in, I think Zambia it was, and then a week in, what's the island? Zanzibar. Is it Zanzibar? Anyway, something like that. £75,000. So my biggest ambition is to help my mum fulfill her dream and her goal. Now that's emotionally congruent to me. My mum's 76, 77, and I want to create some amazing memories. I want the family to come together. And I visualize this insane trip of everyone together, the shenanigans, the fun, the excitement. But the thing I visualize the most is the smile on my mum's face and the feeling that that gives to me. Now that's an insane goal, but it's my biggest driving force right now today. Okay. So what is your biggest goal? What contribution goals? So I want you to start to think about them, but it's got to mean something to you. Like a £75,000 safari isn't something a goal that most people set, but it's something that's congruent to me. So I want you to get your goals, dream a little bit, and you've probably got tons of goals, right? Aside from that, one of the things that's really, really important, and this is the magic now, and this is what I want to challenge you to do. You know, you can maybe do it now, like out from your gut feeling, because sometimes just going with the flow, thinking from your gut is really, really important. Hi, I hope you are well. McLaren's pregnant with our first child. I love it. Oh, just seeing that. So I remember Elise, when Isabella was like 2 months old, I put her in the front seat of my 911 in a little, she's 12 now, incidentally. And I just remember like the vibrations of this like insane, like engine 3.6 kind of like, and her little cheeks were like vibrating. It was absolutely hilarious. Hey, Tracy, hope you're super cool. So the thing is about getting this emotional congruency. Now, a lot of people that I work closely with, they've got me talking about this all the time. And I'm going to do something that's going to expand and really develop foundations and structure for you to have your greatest ever year in 2021. So Tuesday the 22nd, developing your blueprint. This is your personal blueprint success 2021. This is going to be a game changer for you. So make sure you jump on that webinar. But right now, one of the things I really want to inspire you all to do is just make a list now of your top 3 to 5 priorities. What are your top 3 to 5 priorities? What are the most important things in your life right now today? Now, this is really important. So the number 1 priorities in my life are my kids, my family, like my kids and my wife, you know, my family, and my health, and my business. Now, family and my business are very much connected, and I'm sure if you've been in network marketing for a little while, you'll understand, like I've traveled the world with people that were strangers, become team members, become my family, and really, really, like my best friends are in the business in this industry. I absolutely love it with a passion. So what are your priorities? What's a really big priority to you? And then what are your values? So your top 3 to 5 priorities. And then what I'd like you to do is list your top 3 to 5 values. What are your top 3 to 5 values? As in, what are your value driven? I guess priorities and values are very much connected, but in the form of like, you know, what values do you live by? What's important to you? Now, this is really, really important. You've got to have clarity to create certainty, to have confidence, to go all in. And I'll talk about this on another day, but you know, you've got to go all in. Okay. And we're going to talk about that. Not sure what day. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about your inner muscle and your ability to arm yourself. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. But right now, I want you to think about this emotional congruency, your top 3 to 5 priorities, your top 3 to 5 values. You know, what are the values you live by? What are your priorities? Get them on a list. Then when you go down your goals, right? So you've got your values and your priorities, and you look at your goals. And this is how to get emotional congruency. And remember the Ferrari, my adventures with my 2 little girls at the time, right? So now I've got the 2 girls, I've got Jess, there's Luba. So there's now 5 of us. This is why I've got a Porsche Cayenne now, because it's a big 4x4 Porsche, because I'm in love with Porsches, right? So I've got a Porsche Cayenne now because it fulfills the need for adventure with the 5 of us, right? But imagine if my goal was to have a Porsche 911 twin turbo as my only car, right? Imagine if that was my goal, right? Let me then reflect down my priorities. Adventures with my family. That's it. Goals busted already, because it's not congruent with my priority values. Does that make sense? So you go down your goals and you get this emotional congruency by making sure these goals that you have set are in line with your values and priorities. Now, it takes a little bit of time, but it makes sure that you get 100% congruent and you're working for the right goals. Now, I told a little story the other day, and I'm going to tell it to you now. It's in my book, Elastic Attitude. I actually copied the story from Chicken Soup from the Mother's Soul by Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen, and attributed it into the book because it's such an powerful story. And it's called Moving Mountains. And I'm going to tell you that in a moment. But it's about getting that emotion, because when you want to succeed as much as you want to breathe in line with your values and priorities, you're going to have the clarity, the certainty, and the confidence to go all in and take massive action. And this is what separates the winners from the losers, because sometimes the inner driving force, the inner reason why, is going to be the biggest motivator to get you up when you don't feel like it, to do the things that others will not do. Now, let me quickly tell you this story, and then I'm going to wish you a good day. So there was two tribes in the mountains in the Andes. There was the lowlanders and the highlanders, and they were always warring, and they never got on. There was no respect for one another. They were always fighting over land, and the highlanders lived up in the mountains and the lowlanders lived on the lowlands. And what's really important is, and crazy, is one day the highlanders come down and attacked the lowlanders village completely, you know, literally destroying their houses and, you know, stealing loads of food and goats and you know, attacking the women and the kids. And they stole, not only did they do so much damage, but they caught them all by surprise, and then they stole loads of things, but they also took this 3-4-month-old baby and they disappeared into the highlands, and the lowlanders were shocked. Anyway, you know, next day, you know, they were coming around to it all, and they had this meeting, and the lowlanders were like, this baby being stolen, and they decided to send a tribe of their strongest, most agile warriors, fighting warriors, up to the highlands to retrieve this lady's missing baby. Anyway, so off they went, and after days of trying one route, now obviously in the up the mountain, the highlanders, they knew how to climb the mountain, they knew the secret routes, but the lowlanders had never climbed before, and they kept, after trying one route and not succeeding, and another route, you know, 3 to 4 to 5 days passed, and they just couldn't find a way up this mountain to find the highlanders' little village. And anyway, they were packing up, and they were just giving, and they were packing up, all really deflated. One of the warriors sort of looked to the left, and he saw this lady walking down the mountain. He was shocked. Who's this lady? And as she got closer, he realized that this lady was carrying a baby, and it was the lady, the mother of the child that had been stolen, that was walking down the mountain with her 3-4-month-old little baby. And all of these warring, you know, this tribe warring men, all of these fighters, the most able men and strongest men of the village, were like shell shocked. And as she come past to walk past them, one of the warriors said, "Hey, we don't understand. How can you know, a young, petite lady, climb the mountain when us, the strongest, most able men of our tribe, us warriors, can't find a way?" And she just looked into the eyes of this warrior and said, "It wasn't your baby." Now, if ever you need emotional motivation, that is a reason why. When it really, truly, emotionally matters to you, you will do things that others will not do. Not all the armies in the world will stop you when your emotional congruent time has come. I bid you the most amazing day. Set your goals. If you're unable to decide on what you should be going for, keep it nice and simple. Focus on activity goals. You know, focus on little reward goals. What would you do if you had 50 quid spare? What would you do if you had 500 quid spare? What would you do if you had £1,000 spare? 5 grand, 10 grand, 15 grand, 50 grand. Start to dream again, but make sure your goals are not set because other people are working to them goals. Make sure them goals are congruent with what truly matters to your values and your priorities, because it's the missing link to most people's goal setting. Have an amazing day. Thank you for joining me. Finally, before I go, I am going to ask one thing of you all. If you are enjoying day one so far and day two, we're going to do our draw at some point this afternoon for the Free Elastic Attitude books. If you would like to do a couple of things on your profile as network marketers, just go and share the fact that you're loving day one and day two of the 30-day live video training in the Passion to Succeed, Accelerating Your Success community. Feel free to invite people along, maybe even share the link, entirely up to you. But a review would be absolutely fantastic, not just in the comments of our videos here, but also maybe sharing to have a ripple effect of change, because we are that pebble of change. And this community, this group, is going to empower people to believe in the possibilities that lie within them, around them, and before them, to go smash their network marketing business to the next level. Have an amazing day. Thank you very much for joining me.